Let's just start with the main event, man. We have Jan Blachowicz defending his first title defense of his light heavyweight belt against Israel Adesanya, who's moving up from middleweight to fight him at light heavyweight.
Yeah.
Very excited. Both these guys fought fairly recently. Blachowicz just absolutely demoed Dominic Reyes. He branded him on the side.
I don't think he branded him. And then drilled a hole in his side.
Yeah.
He broke his rib.
I think he broke everything about him.
He broke his spirit too.
Yeah. And then Adesanya pretty much equally kind of did the same thing to Costa. I mean, Costa and Adesanya were talking so much leading up to that fight.
What do you call it? Something Ricky Martin or?
Yeah. What did he call him? The Brazilian. Did he call him like the Brazilian Ricky Martin? Or no, he says this Ricky Martin ass looking guy or something like that. Yeah. And honestly, he's not that wrong. So it's an exciting fight. Izzy undefeated professionally so far, not counting his kickboxing career. What is Jan riding? He's riding like a 4-5 win streak or something like that. He's doing something right.
I don't know the exact stats, but I do know that I had never seen Jan fight prior to that fight with Reyes, and that turned me into a fan immediately. I had seen Adesanya fight, and while there's no getting around the fact that he's inarguably one of the best fighters the UFC's ever seen, I cannot stand his attitude and his personality. I get it, the showmanship, because even Colby does the same thing. Usman does the same thing, the guys we were talking about last week. But there's just something about his that rubs me the wrong way, where like Usman, I get in a sense, I can kind of understand it, but Adesanya is just like, what are you doing, dude? You don't have to act this way, especially looking at guys like Khabib, and he doesn't act like that, and he's undeniably one of like the best at this point, So for me, it's kind of like, dude, check that attitude, man. We know you're good. We know that you're one of the best, if not the best. So, humble yourself a little bit, man. Nobody's doubting you. Just, I don't know. My hope is that that cockiness and that attitude gets checked real quick by Jan, especially considering he's moving up a weight class. But you were telling me that Adesanya walks typically at the light heavyweight weight just in general, so he probably doesn't have to cut the way that Blachowicz has to cut.
Yeah, his coach Eugene, can't remember his last name, was saying like we're not gonna bulk up to 205. Like we're just gonna pretty much have him how he normally is. There might be like a couple of pounds he might need to come down. I don't know if even that. But yeah, he was saying he's like we're good where we are. We're not going to do anything. So which could be favorable for him because Jan for sure cuts down. Jan used to fight at heavyweight, so he's for sure cutting down. And it honestly surprises me every time I see him that man somehow steps on the scale at 205 successfully. He's gigantic. By the way, Jan is riding a 4-5 win streak. Izzy hasn't lost yet. Again, not counting his kickboxing career. So two guys coming in hot. I agree with you with what you were saying about Adesanya and like his whole persona thing. He does sometimes say funny stuff. He does sometimes say funny stuff. I will give him that. Having said that, the line per whatever ESPN uses, I don't know where their odds come from, but this is showing minus 240 for Adesanya, plus 200 for Blachowicz. I had seen it higher a couple weeks ago. It was plus 220. I want to say I saw Blachowicz. So maybe people have been taking the on, or this is just a different outlet that they're using to. OddsShark actually has Blachowicz at plus 195. So maybe it's just been going down. I guess when people are taking on.
Well, see, I can see that because, like, I think that line is too big. I would think
I agree.
This should be a lot closer than people are expecting. If Adesanya didn't have to move up that weight class, I would be like, okay, they're fighting in the same division. Just both of them are from that same division. So, okay, yeah, set the lines where you're setting them. But, the fact that he's moving up, we don't know what that means for him. I can't imagine he's going to slow down all too much. But to me, the real question is Adesanya going to be able to get in and work on Jan? Because we saw the way that Jan kept Reyes at a distance. And what I liked about him was how this is what I like about most fighters that I end up liking is how technical they end up being. They're not really showmans. They don't do the like whoa, 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 like there's not really much of that. It's very like cold, very calculated. Like I'm gonna put this foot here for this reason, and if he steps in here, this is the result of what I've calculated. And I think that this could be one of those where if Adesanya makes one wrong move, he might be left to regret it.
Yeah, he definitely has that ability. I also do agree that, the line it's much wider than I would have thought. It's actually identical to, it was initially. Jan's last fight against Reyes, Jan was plus 220 then as well. I think when the lines closed, it was around plus 220 or so.
I don't know why they set it at that, because
yeah, and I think his last couple fights, I think he's been the betting underdog. I might be wrong, but for sure his previous fight and this fight, I do have Adesanya winning this. When you were mentioning how is he going to be, I was initially thinking the same thing, but then I learned after that he's actually fought at heavyweight before. When he was kickboxing, he was at heavyweight. What he fought at weight-wise, I don't know. What kind of heavyweight he was in terms of his actual weight, no idea. I am still curious to see how he looks at 205. Like, is he still as quick as he is as fast as he is as sharp as he is? Very well, the answer could be yes. But in case he isn't, he definitely has the speed advantage, obviously, over Blachowicz. Blachowicz has the power. And the thing is, Blachowicz also has the ability to do something on the ground. It's funny, they Polish power. Jan says it, everyone says it. I'm going to confirm right now, but I am fairly confident that Jan has more submission wins than knockouts.
Well, because Jan has a jiu-jitsu background.
Yeah, so it's just funny because like his power. It's like he 100% has power, but also he can just choke you out. His win breakdown: 30% wins of his wins have been by KO, TKO. 33% have been by submission, and 37% have been by decision. Looking at Izzy, 75% have been KO, TKO. 25% have been division.
There's no submissions. He's a striker. He's a complete striker. He's
never attempted a takedown, if I'm not mistaken. And it's funny, right? A little bit before we recorded our prior one, I was reading that Adesanya was saying, he's like, I just can't wait to get on my back with one of these guys. Like, I can't wait to get to the ground with one of these guys because I really want to choke someone out. It's just no one makes it till that point. I just knock everyone out. I was like, I'm interested to see if you get to that point.
I mean, what are you
going to do?
Has he trained in jiu-jitsu and grappling at all? Is he? I mean, I would assume there's some
light. He recently got his purple belt. Belt in jiu-jitsu.
So I'm wondering if
in Izzy's credit. Yeah, in Izzy's credit, and looking at the numbers here on UFC's site, so Jan has a 65% takedown defense, which probably is not going to matter. I can't imagine Izzy randomly decides he's going to go for takedowns against him. But again, in his defense, because they give him crap about like, oh, this guy is not a grappler, he doesn't have a jiu-jitsu background, whatever. His takedown defense is 86%. And now, I don't know what the actual numbers are. Like if it's like a very small batch, like if it's like, I don't know, like 8 for 9, whatever, would break down to 86%. I don't know. But hey, it's 86%, still fairly high. So I'm interested to see for a 5-rounder, where does this fight land? Does this somehow go to distance? Do we see a knockout? Do we see someone submit someone? Like any of those 3 avenues, I think are possible.
I mean, it's going to be.
I think the longer the fight goes, it's probably going to favor Izzy, though. I would assume.
I would assume because Jan just being the bigger guy, and he's definitely having a cut to make weight. My fear would be that he doesn't have the conditioning required to make it through all the way to 5 rounds, and still be good to keep going at the same pace that he starts round 1 with.
So looking at Jan's last couple fights, so against Reyes, it was a round 2 knockout. Against Corey Anderson, it was a round 1 knockout. Against Ronaldo Souza, it went to decision, and he won. And then against Luke Rockhold, round 2.
He doesn't make it really past the 3rd, but that could also be because he hasn't really fought a 5-rounder. This looks like it may be his first. But
Well,
Or
he
no,
has
right? It wouldn't be his
had
first.
no. This would he was the co-main against Reyes. So since it was a title fight, that was 5 rounds.
Yeah.
He was the main event against Corey Anderson. Whether that was a 5 rounder or not, I don't know. I'm assuming he probably was. He was also the main event against Ronaldo Souza. Well, is that Shockray? Oh, he fought Shockray. Interesting. And then Luke Rockhold was not a main event, but it was on the pay-per-view. And then prior to that, he fought Santos. That was the main event. So he's fought main events. It's just he hasn't required going into the 5th round.
Yeah, it
So
looks like
if
it's
this
only
one does
once,
end up
and that
like
was
that,
with Souza.
yeah, that was Jacare. That's the guy that Kevin Holland got that swooping punch from the ground.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I intuitively my gut pick was when I saw this got finalized, I was like, it's probably going to be Izzy. I want Jan to win. I like Jan. He's cool. He's a brute. This guy's an animal. I saw a video of him today. Like I don't know where it was. Like he was in like a frozen lake, just like chilling. And then the UFC embedded episode 1 came out today. He was riding his bike, like mountain biking in Vegas because they're there already. So he was like doing like an hour and a half of cardio, he said. So I don't know, man. I am curious to see. It wouldn't surprise me if like we see like the first round or two kind of slow paced.
Feeling each other out. Well, I mean,
it wouldn't surprise me.
So what I'm curious to see is if Jan brings those kicks to bear against Adesanya, the way he did with Reyes. Because if Adesanya is going to, take Jan down, he's going to have to knock him out. I don't see it going any other way. There's going to have to be a knockout, or you're going to have to thug it out until the 5th and hope that the decision goes your way. But if Jan keeps him at a distance by throwing those leg kicks the way he did with Reyes, I'm sure Adesanya has seen those videos. So, you got to figure he's going into this knowing like, holy crap, if this guy works me like that. But then Adesanya is quick as hell too. So it's hard to say if he's going to stand there and let himself get kicked.
That's what I was going to say, man. He's a shifty guy. That's the thing, man. For me, the main differentiator is that speed element.
Yeah,
it's not the power. Although Izzy clearly has knockout power. I'm not saying
he doesn't. Absolutely.
But like I'm not thinking it's going to be that's going to set him apart. It's not his ground game that's going to set. It's his speed. And this guy will fight. He will comfortably go 5 rounds comfortably. I don't know how comfortable because Jan again the last time he had to go 5. He went 5 rounds. Was it 2019? I was just looking at it. 2019. November 2019 was the last time that he went 5 rounds. So obviously he went to 5 rounds. I don't know. I didn't watch that fight. I don't know how he looked in terms of stamina wise. Like
we'll have to watch that one.
But yeah. So my pick is going to be Adesanya. Is it like an overly confident one? Not particularly, but gut pick was Adesanya. I want Jan to win, but I think Adesanya is going to win.
I want Jan to win, and I'm going to take Jan as my pick as well. And the reason why I'm saying that is because of his jiu-jitsu background. And if Adesanya is talking about, he wants a guy to put him on his back and work on the ground a little bit. I mean, if you're just training in the gym, that's one thing, but to actually be there in that moment and to have all that pressure and all that stress riding on your shoulders while some guy is keeping you pinned to the ground and you have to work. I don't know if he's going to be able to get the better of Jan in that kind of scenario. So I'm curious to see what happens. I'm taking out Jan as my pick because I think that Jan is going to try to keep distance, see what happens. So like you said, I think the first couple might be slow because they're going to feel each other out. I think Jan will try to keep distance the first and the second. And if he's smart, he'll pivot into the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. If he doesn't get a lucky knockout or TKO. And if it goes to the ground, then I think that Jan has the clear advantage because he's the more experienced fighter on the ground. So.
Yeah, I guess we'll see how it plays out. Who knows, man? Maybe Jan just comes out, just like balls to the wall, just goes nuts. Round 1, he just throws everything he has.
Well, who
Kind of
was
like
it?
because the Reyes fight was a slow opener too. It wasn't like bang 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 immediately.
No, it
They
wasn't.
kind of danced around that first round. They got their Young got his shots in, but it kind
Well,
of opened up more
so
later.
another point that I want to make though is I forgot who was. I think it may have been you. Somebody was talking to me about this where they were saying, for example, the fight that we saw with it was another title defense fight where somebody was saying that so and so is defending, and so when you're defending your title, you need to go and take it from that person. It's not up to the defender to
Hmm.
go in and work and do whatever, you know.
Because we were
It's up
talking about the Romero and Adesanya fight.
is that what that
Because it
was?
was like, yeah, we were talking about that because that fight was not exciting by any means. Like they both guys were tap dancing for 5 rounds.
I mean,
I
so
forgot who was saying that. I remember that. But yeah, they were pretty much saying, well, like Romero's the one challenging Izzy for the belt.
yeah,
So
it's
Romero's going to be the one that Izzy's not going to go out there to lose his belt
and
or
neither
anyone,
should
not just
he,
him.
and
But
neither should he though.
yeah,
Because, and so that could be another strategy that Jan decides to employ, where he just kind of sits back and it's like, okay, well, try what you're gonna try, and I'll just do my best to counter it. And then if I see that you're giving me an opening, I'll take it, because I agree with that mentality too. You're sitting on that belt, you know, he wants it more than, well, no, I mean, you both want it obviously, but it's more a question of he has to come and take it from you. Why do you have to go and walk it out to him? So I can see it. I can definitely see Jan coming up with a different kind of strategy where he just sits back on his heels and lets Adesanya try to take the belt from him. I mean, in which case, then I stand by my pick even more.
we'll see. The other thing that I just remembered was we saw with the Costa fight for Izzy how he was absolutely beautifully working
Oh yeah,
Costa's left leg, just hammering and chopping at that thing very efficiently. That thing, it was already, I think, in the first round, he already jacked it up pretty good. And he's just so accurate, man. Like he that guy's a sniper, punching, kicking. It's really when he's going at it, when he's not sitting back, when he's fighting. It's very entertaining watching this guy
yeah.
fight. Like the Costa fight, boring fight.
It's because of Costa.
Because of Costa. Great performance by Adesanya. Like everything he was doing was fantastic. It's just Costa was just eating everything. So if he saw how successfully the legs worked against Costa, maybe he sees something in his film studies on Jan. If he does film studies, maybe he tries testing that out. Like because it was still kind of slow. It was a little bit slow for the Adesanya Costa fight, but he was still picking at that leg.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't just hounding him, like he wasn't pushing the pace like in his face all the time. No, but he was picking him apart with those kicks, just chopping and chopping and chopping. So he might employ something like that. I'm curious. Let me see. I want to know what they have on the rounds for this, because I'd be curious to know if the people are thinking this one goes beyond. Oh, beautiful. The site that I use is having a system maintenance. Well, we'll have to find out later. But yeah, I'm curious to know what the over-under was going to be on the rounds. It wouldn't surprise me. Like, I want to say it's not going to, I don't want to like have like both of my feet in both sides of this, because it wouldn't surprise me if it went to decision. But then also if you told me it's one of those guys knocked the other guy out, I'd be like, yeah, it doesn't surprise me either. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't even know what I want to see. I just want a good fight, but like results wise, like how it ends, I don't know.
I think no matter how it ends,
I just don't want it to be a snooze fest.
I think no matter how it ends, you'll see a good fight. If it makes it to 5 rounds, you'll see that fourth and the fifth being where most of the entertainment lies. Because my gut tells me Jan's probably going to play it safe. He should, considering how dangerous Adesanya is. Is it what we want to hear or see? Probably not. Is it the right move to make tactically? Yeah,